What's up, everybody? Ghost Girl 007 here. Today's video is going to be a haunted reads. Today's video, well, right now we're reading "I Am Haunted: Living in the Life Through the Dead" by Zach Bagans. So we're on this one. So if you're new to my channel, we've been reading this book for some time now. So you want to go back to if you go back to the number 1 haunted readings, like haunted reads episode 1, that is of a mag. That's where we start reading paranormal stuff. And we already started to, we read one thing already. We read like a paranormal magazine. So that's what episode 1, where we started with the magazine. So if you want to see that, watch episode 1 of Haunted Reads. Right now, at the moment, we're reading this book. So, we've been reading it for some time, so stay tuned. If you like videos like this, then, subscribe, like, and comment in the comments below, and let me know what you think. So right now, we're on chapter 10, page 85. Health risk. This job is riskier than you think. This life is not without risks, but the beauty of it is that we have a choice whether to take those risks or not. You can encapsulate yourself in 50 layers of Kevlar shielding, or you can be a buffalo riding cliff diver. It's your choice. I've made a conscious decision to make connections with spirits and battle dark entities. Each time I do it, I come one step closer to unlocking the mysteries of the afterlife. But there's always a price to pay. People don't fully understand the physical, mental, and spiritual dangers of paranormal investigation. Just as coal miners can develop black lung, paranormal investigators face undefined and possibly deadly risks. If you don't think that's true, take a walk with me through some of the hazards of my profession and then tell me if it's really something you would want to pursue. Let's start with the physical risks. I've always had a dilated septum. See chapter 19, Overland Hotel, for more on that. But I never had asthma until recently. I didn't have to use an inhaler until the 30th or 40th investigation into a dank, moldy, asbestos, and vermin-infested hole. In the early years, I didn't wear a respirator during investigations. My philosophy back then was, how can someone host a TV show with a muzzle on his face that makes it hard to hear him? That thinking was short-sighted, and now I regret it. Once we were investigating the Remington Arms factory in Connecticut and went underground to check out a firing range located deep beneath the facility. Aaron wasn't on camera at the time, so this isn't something you will see in the episode. But he was wearing a respirator while Nick and I weren't. It was blacker than black down there, and we were blinder than bats, but without their radar. We had night vision equipment, but it sees only so much. Night vision is rarely as good as the naked eye, though it's much better in a few situations. We were wading through an old tunnel with 6 inches of stagnant, muddy water soaking our feet and ankles. 100 yards in, Nick and I started coughing, and not just a little, but a lot. It was strange, so we were forced to turn on the white lights. As soon as we did, it looked like we were in a blizzard. There were nasty particles filling the air. I don't know whether they were toxic or not, but I didn't care. We raced out of that tunnel as fast as we could, and I'm convinced that place had something to do with the breathing issues I have today. Should we have done more research before going down there? Possibly, but so many of the buildings we go into are old and abandoned, or have no existing records or custodians. They have been inspected or up to any kind of building code in decades, and they've got mold, lead, carbon monoxide, asbestos chemicals, and they have and funk, crud, vagrants, hypodermic needles, and dead rodents, and it never ends. Nearly every site we investigate is abandoned. Sometimes I worry about the breathing problems I've developed. I've been to pulmonologists, gotten x-rays, used an inhaler. I'm going to show you this one picture. Zach. Use an inhaler twice a day, and I wear a respirator wherever there's a risk. But it's too late. I have issues now and will have to live with them forever. We face other physical risks in these dilapidated rust buckets, like breaking through a floorboard, getting snagged on a rusty nail, falling down a mine shaft, running into an iron bar in the dark. Aaron is the clumsiest man in the world when it comes to such things, or having a wall fall on us. It makes me want to buy more health insurance, but try explaining what you do to an insurance representative over the phone. Always wear protection kits. I'm just gonna show my hair. It's pretty funny looking. You do what? And you go into these places on purpose. Click. In addition to the physical dangers, the spirits themselves. Okay, so this is what he was saying. So I'm gonna go back. He said, but try explaining what you do to an insurance representative over the phone. Always wear protection kits, and that's what that picture was. And it said, this is the guy on the phone. You do what? And you go into these places on purpose. And then he hangs up the phone. Click. In addition to the physical dangers, the spirits themselves can harm us through attacks and possessions. I've been infested by demons, been scratched by dark entities, and had bricks and rocks tossed at me. At Penhurst State, I was nearly impaled by a coat rack with a rusty tip that I believe was thrust at me by a spirit trying to stop us from investigating. At this same location, Nick was pushed onto a pile of glass shards and received several cuts. It's no crushy desktop in a cubicle with a padded chair and a laptop. We risk our lives for this passion, and I have dozens of stories like this. I advise all paranormal investigators to take precautions. You don't want to become a ghost while pursuing them. Spirits can be mean, too. They will try to scare you to your very core so that you'll never be the same again. We place ourselves in some of the most haunted places in the world, where people from all walks of life have experienced life-changing events and have been scared permanently. Many of the guides we've had over the years refuse to enter the places we lock ourselves into because they've been damaged to their very souls there. They're like, have fun, guys, later. Unless you're heartless, this job can also affect your view of humanity. We've investigated a lot of hospitals and battlefields where unimaginable atrocities took place. What some people are willing to do to others, especially those who are supposed to be under their care, is horrific and shameful. I mentioned Penhurst State earlier, which was pure hell for the patients who suffered there, as were so many of other sites we visited, like Pagvolia Island, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Jeez. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Letchworth Village, Ashmore Estates, and Linda Vista Hospital. And so were the battlefields that were soaked with blood, like Gettysburg. The hell of what people went through in these places is not easily forgotten. And then there is the personal evolution that this job causes. Paranormal investigation is addicting, but first let's take a detour. Think about all the places you've been that may be haunted without you ever knowing it. You're walking down a highway and have an encounter, a brief moment when a spirit interacts with you. To you, it's nothing, a few goosebumps, a shoulder, a quickening of your step to get away from it, and you feel normal again. But then you feel different. You're overcome by sadness or anger for no apparent reason. An inexplicable change comes over you, and you want to do something you normally wouldn't. You don't understand it and probably don't want to, but you've been bitten by a bug that injects the toxin of dark things into you. It's rarely good. In these moments, I believe you're coming in contact with a powerful spirit that's trying to get inside you for some reason, to communicate, to educate, to harm. Maybe it needs help. Whatever its motivation, it wants to have an effect on you. Now, imagine you're me. I've overdosed on this type of encounter. I open myself up more and more to spiritual energy and other phenomena, and invite them in to do what they please. It can be difficult to tell good spirits from bad ones, but coming into contact with a spirit is always a rush, and it always invites you to keep digging for more. When you become addicted to drugs, alcohol, sugar, anything, your body deteriorates and you begin to surrender yourself. I've started down this path, but stopped myself from continuing when I saw the signs. I've become more religious because I've seen the forces of good and evil at work. So being a paranormal investigator has given me a sense of clarity in that department. At the Winchester Mystery House, we conducted a big experiment, attempting to make contact with dark spirits in 2 different locations at the same time. It's a long story, but we tried to set up a portal for demons at Bobby Mackey's Musical World in Kentucky. and spirits in the Winchester house in California to connect. And strange things happened to people at both locations. Simultaneously at the Winchester house, Aaron collapsed in tears, and what happened to him had to be edited out because it was so personal. Something dark came through at both locations, so we cut off the experiment. But we went back into the Winchester house to continue our investigation. Even though we were shaken up, while I was walking around the hallways with a mail meter, something terrifying happened. The mail meter alarm went off, and at the same time my heart began beating irregularly. But here's the weird part. The meter alarm at the exact same tempo as my heartbeat. Whatever it was detecting was moving or existing at the same pace as my heart. I froze, unable to speak, and terrified that I was going to have a heart attack. So I did something I'd never done before. I cut off the investigation. I wasn't myself, and I ended a lockdown early for the first time ever. It wasn't just that I felt weird. Something much deeper was wrong. Something serious and powerful told me to stop, and for once I listened. The next day I found out what really happened. At the exact moment my heart raced and the millimeter alarmed, my grandmother died. That's really hit me hard. I was closer to her than anyone else on my father's side of the family, and she never missed an episode. When she died, a part of me died too. I can't believe that this is a coincidence. It's just too impactful and personal. And I don't think the electrical system in my body has been the same since then. I feel a deeper connection to spirits now. So are the health risks of paranormal investigations real? Hell yes, they're real. And just as risky as the physical and mental aspects is the possibility of being infested, oppressed, or possessed by dark energy. As I described in my first book, Dark World, there are 3 levels of demonic interaction with humans. Infestation is the lowest level. It occurs when a demonic entity has made a nest in a building but has not yet chosen a human body to reside in. Sometimes the demon intends to remain there without disturbing the humans it comes across, and sometimes its intentions are much more dastardly. Oppression is the middle level. This occurs when a demon has chosen a human host and is trying to destroy that person's intellect and will. This is sometimes referred to as a transcendent stage, when the demon is not fully in control of the human, but is trying to achieve full control. To banish a demon at this level, a priest like Bishop James Long can perform a minor rite of exorcism. Full possession is the highest level. At this point, the demonic entity has full control over the human host, and banishing it requires a solemn rite of exorcism. A demon can and will kill its human host if it's not banished. At all 3 levels, the dark spirit manipulates the person like a leech that can't be removed. It transfuses the person with all of its dark energy, all of its pain, violence, and hate. It wants to make the person depressed and violent and cause him to turn on his family and friends. In the early days of Ghost Adventures, we weren't aware of this risk. I first realized that oppression could happen when I saw Aaron get controlled and turned into someone else almost overnight. Before Aaron's experience, we were just inquisitive minds trying to peek behind the curtain into the supernatural world. Suddenly we knew what was back there, and everything was different. Aaron fell into a dark attachment and slowly slipped away. Out of respect for him, I won't divulge into much of what happened, but I know that this situation was caused by our interest in pursuing the truth. We ran smack dab into our first demon, and it wasn't a fun time. When you investigate places where demonic attacks and attachments have been reported by significant numbers of credible sources, you are expected to be bringing something home with you. When a spirit attaches itself to you, you become a different person, but don't realize it. Only the people close to you can see the changes. The attachment can cause you to spiral into depression, detach from friends and family, and even feel suicidal. That's what oppression is. The spirit feeds on the pain it causes you to experience. You have to learn how to detoxify yourself from this energy the right way. I've been through it and still go through it. It never ends. It's what I do for a living, and the risks come with the territory. So that's the end of the chapter today. If you like stories like this, then like and subscribe and comment in the comments below and let me know what you think. Until next time, everybody, stay creepy and be creepy. This was Angelica with Ghost Girl 007. See you next time.